Israel Adesanya is one of the most polarizing fighters to fight for the company. Entering into the UFC, he wanted to make his message heard by being great. Throughout his UFC tenure, there are a lot of moments that not only just elevate, but make Israel Adesanya for who he is today. But before I get into the video, if you guys can, please hit the like button as I'm trying to get to 20 likes on this video. And also hit the subscribe button to really push this out to more and more UFC fans. Anyways, let's get into it. When it comes to fighters coming into fights being very cocky, it isn't a strange thing for Israel Adesanya to face early in his career. One of the first UFC rivalries for him was Derek Brunson. More of a physically built fighter with a wrestling background, Brunson came into this fight commenting on the world-class kickboxer and underestimating his power due to his skinny physique. But especially during the press conference, he was very vocal about it.
Israel, you're skinny, bro. Hey, you better lift some weights, man. You're skinny as hell. I'm not worried about you. I'm an All-American wrestler.
I might be the ugliest thing, but I'll whoop your ass any day.
3 rounds, bro,
any
till
single
I
day.
finish you.
Yo, check my Instagram again. I just hit him with another
nothing,
meme.
bro.
And
Your
I got
Instagram mean nothing.
heat coming at him.
Means nothing. Hey, you built like a senior citizen. I'm not worried about you, boy.
You
not
fight
worried
like
about
a drunk
you, boy.
bum.
Bro,
drunk as fuck and
you're
still
skinny.
whoop your ass.
You're skinny. You're alcoholic,
bro.
bro.
Bum rusher guy?
You're skinny. It's over for you, bro.
In Brunson's world, if muscles were to win fights, he would be a multiple-time world champion. But in this planet Earth, in the UFC, that was not the case at all. There are a lot more than just showing muscles. And that was showcased when Israel Adesanya knocked out Derek Brunson in the first round. That again, showcasing that muscles don't win fights. But this isn't the first time someone was talking shit to Israel Adesanya and not learning their lesson. When Paulo Costa got his opportunity after his win against Yoel Romero, this fight, although that there were a lot of complications due to Paulo Costa getting an injury and COVID being a very big thing back in 2020, the fight got delayed. But we eventually got this fight on Fight Island. The build to the fight was heated on both ends as they both wanted to prove themselves to being the best fighter in the middleweight division. Both having an undefeated record, and Israel Adesanya coming off of one of the most hated title defenses of all time. He needed to remind the world of who he is as a fighter. This fight truly demonstrated of who Israel Adesanya is at his craft. From when the bell rang to the ref stepping in, we saw Israel Adesanya breaking his legs to slowly catching him with the right shot. And landing that sneaky left hook in the second round, it dropped Paulo Costa, which eventually got Israel Adesanya the TKO win. And Israel Adesanya had one of the craziest celebrations after his win, which was teabagging his opponent after the fight. Adesanya had a message to Paulo Costa, and it was simple.
Fruit here tonight, congratulations.
I've been telling you guys, man, but everyone thinks, hey, like Roy Jones said, I said, y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot. Because of what happened last time, you thought, oh, he's so boring, blah, 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 blah. And I see you media people as well with your little clickbait headlines, but trust me, I had to make y'all remember, and I had to remind the world why we the best.
However, when those rivalries lasted for a short amount of time, there was one that fans always remembered. And this traced back to Israel Adesanya's kickboxing days. One fighter that he seemed to never get over the hump in kickboxing decided that he wanted to make a run in the UFC. Meet Alex Pereira. The fighter that won against Israel Adesanya twice in kickboxing decided that he wanted to create his legacy in the UFC as well. And what got him motivated to do this was because of an interview that Israel Adesanya did.
Earlier on, I had a fight night where, kickboxing fight, people were like, oh, you know, if you leave it to the judges, that was the Glory World title fight. People, and I won that fight, but then I didn't finish the guy. People were like, oh, well, that's what happens when you leave it to the judges. But that's easier said than when you're actually in the fucking ring trying to do the work. But then, yeah, this fight I fought and I got knocked out. My first and only ever knockout loss, and then my only back-to-back loss as well. So for me, it was a lot of learning. But I'm glad it happened because I wouldn't be here where it was. And even the same guy now he watches all my fights, and every time I fight, like clockwork, he'll try and put something out like, I beat this guy. But I've never ever watched any of his fights, ever. So at the end of the day, no one knows who the he is. And he's gonna be that guy when I'm world champion, when I'm a legend. He's gonna be at some pub, talking some shit about, I beat that guy one time, trying to get a dick sucked from a crack whore or some shit.
Fast forward to Israel Adesanya's 5 successful title defenses and Alex Pereira making a statement by knocking out any fighter that was in his way to the top. This fight against each other felt the most for both fighters. As some may question Alex Pereira's path to the top, others had concerned about how Alex Pereira may be the kryptonite to Israel Adesanya. First fight happens and it proved the Adesanya doubters right. Don't get me wrong, Izzy almost pulled it off in the first round, but afterwards, Alex Pereira manages to get a TKO in the 5th round. However, the rematch rolls into April that next year, and Izzy being down 3-0 combined in his fights against him. Alex made him have his back against the wall in the rematch, but with this going into a different direction. As something similar happens in the first round of the first fight, Izzy manages to catch him in the rematch to not only regain his belt, but to know that he could actually beat him in a fight. And Izzy's emotions really said it all during the post-fight interview.
Hey, shush, listen up. I want to say something. People, Earth, I need to say something. Listen to me. I hope every one of you behind your screens or in this arena can feel this level of happiness just one time in your life. I hope all of you can feel how happy I am just one time in your life. But guess what? You never feel this level of happiness if you don't go for something in your own life. When they knock you down, when they try on you, when they talk about you, and they try to put their foot on your neck. If you stay down, you will never ever get that resolve. Fortify your mind and feel this level of happiness as you rise. One time in your life, but I'm blessed to be able to feel this again and again and again and again and again.
Now, before I go into my final best moment of Israel Adesanya's career, I must give an honorable mention to the Kelvin Gastelum fight. Israel Adesanya not only walked out to one of my favorite songs by Nipsey Hussle, but he showcased that he had a dog in him in this fight, and it turned out to being one of the best fights ever to watch. If you speak to specific fans, they would tell you that that is one of the most legendary matchups of all time. But speaking of legendary, which gets to my final point, we see generally in sports that legends pass on to the next generation of athletes. In this case, we saw Anderson Silva, one of the most prolific strikers in the UFC, share the ring with an up-and-coming fighter at the time, Israel Adesanya. And although it was a 3-rounder win for Izzy, the consensus go at middleweight fighting Adesanya, which people now consider him being one of the greatest middleweights of all time, was shown to be a very wholesome, old school and new school fighters going at it to set the next presence of the UFC. Those are some of my favorite moments of Israel Adesanya throughout his UFC career, but what are yours? Do you guys think there's any that I should have put within this list? Now that I'm thinking about it, I maybe should have put the Robert Whittaker fight. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Please hit the like button and make sure y'all subscribe as we're going to go try to hit 3,000 subs. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.